Rama's subsequent coronation at the end of his exile. In this program, we will explore some major incidents in the Ramayana through a combination of narration, quotations from the Ramayana and allied works, and musical compositions by various composers spanning over a millennium.
Tato yajne samapte tu ऋतूनां षट्समत्ययुः ततश्च द्वादशे मासे चैत्रे नवमिके तिथौ नक्षत्रे अदितिदैवत्ये नक्षत्रे अदितिदैवत्ये सोच्छसंस्थेषु पञ्चसु ग्रहेषु कर्कटे लग्ने ग्रहेषु कर्कटे लग्ने वाक्पदा इन्दुना सह प्रोद्यमाने जगन्नाथं सर्वलोकनमस्कृतं कौसल्या अजनयत्रा दिव्यलक्षणसंयुतं विष्णोरर्धं महाभागं पुत्रमैक्ष्वाकुनन्दनं रोहिताक्षं महाबाहुं रक्तोष्टं दुन्दुभिस्वनम् कौसल्या सुशुभेतेन पुत्रेणामिततेजसा यथा वरेण देवानाम् अदितिर्वज्रपाणिना यथा वरेण देवानाम् अदितिर्वज्रपाणिना कल्याण रामा राम कल्याण रामा रघुराम राम कल्याण
Closer to the mic.
We, as Prithvi introduced, are going to explore aspects of the Ramayana today for the benefit of folks in the audience who might not be familiar with this work. We are going to explore the journey of a king, a prince who is supposed to be coronated. He gets exiled right before the coronation. His wife gets kidnapped. They fight a demon to rescue his wife, and they go back, and he gets coronated as king with his wife as queen. That's the big picture that we are looking at. The piece that we presented speaks of Lord Rama, who is an incarnation of the supreme being Vishnu in Hindu mythology, and he is born in a particular month, star in April. We are kind of doing this a little bit before his birthday. That's kind of the occasion. Rama is born as a son to a king Dasharatha, who is a king in the kingdom of Ayodhya, and he is born upon request of the gods who are being tormented by a demon Ravana. Ravana, we will see, is the main villain in this story, so to speak, and the story will end with how he gets slain and how Lord Rama's wife Sita gets rescued. Rama has just incarnated. The verses that we presented speak of that time when he was just born, and they speak of his divine attributes. Kalyana Rama meaning his auspicious, his virtuous attributes. We are going to take a small peek into his childhood from a motherly perspective with a lullaby. Lullabies are traditionally sung at the end of these programs, but we are going to present a different facet of Ramayana today. So we are going to present a small lullaby right now.
Man pughar ko salaitan mani vairvai tavane. Man pughar ko salaitan mani vairvai tavane. Tenni langai ko nudigal chindu pitai shen ponche. Man pughar ko salaitan mani vairvai tavane. Tenni langai ko nudigal chindu pitai shen ponche.
Rama is just born. He's a baby. His mother has laid him on the cradle. She's gently shaking the cradle as the baby sleeps. And the composer is wondering that this baby has already slain the demon Ravana. So the composer is looking into the future and he's saying this baby was born for the purpose of slaying Ravana. Rama is born. Not too much is narrated in the Ramayana of his childhood. So we are going to fast forward 12 years after his birth. He has undergone training in the traditional arts and he is taken on a quest to guard a ritual by a sage. And he guards his ritual, and as payment, he receives an all expenses paid trip to Nepal. The sage takes him and his brother to Nepal. What we know as present-day Nepal is known as Mithila in the Ramayana. In case anyone in the audience is interested, Nepal's national motto, Janani Janma Bhumischa Svargadapi Gariyasi, Mother and motherland are higher than heaven, comes from the Ramayana. Similar to how in the US we say, in God we trust. The sage takes Rama and his younger brother Lakshmana to Mithila. The king of Mithila welcomes them and he tells them that he is looking to get his daughter Sita married. And there is a certain challenge associated with asking Sita's hand in marriage, which is that the king of Mithila has a bow. You're expected to lift the bow, and if you can, you earn the right to ask for her hand in marriage. Vishwamitra, who is the sage who has brought Rama to Mithila, inquires whether Rama should do this. The king says yes. So Vishwamitra says, Vishwamitrastu dharmatma shrutva janaka bhashitam vatsarama dhanuh pashya iti raghavam abravit. He says, son Rama, my dear, go and take a look at the bow. Everyone in the audience is watching with rapt attention, eyes wide open. Rama is 12 years old. He goes and takes a look at the bow, and being the curious person that he is, he doesn't stop at just taking a look at the bow. People pause to blink for a second, and the next thing that they hear is the sound of a thunderclap. In the moment that they have blinked, Rama has not only lifted up the bow, he strung it, he put it back, and the strength in his arms was so high, so mighty, that the bow snapped in half. So he has now earned the right to ask for Sita's hand in marriage. And Sita lays eyes on him for the first time as they are being introduced, and she is instantly smitten. More wondrously, Rama is more smitten by her than she is by him. So King Janaka decides that Rama and Sita should get married. And then they decide, why not just stop at the wedding of Rama and Sita? Rama has 3 other brothers, why not get all of them married together? Weddings are expensive, so might as well, do all of them together. So King Janaka, Sita's father, writes to Rama's father and asks, hey, can we do this? And King Dasharatha is overjoyed, like all 4 of his sons are getting married to the prestigious kingdom of Mithila. And the wedding takes place to grand celebrations. What we are going to present right now is a small snippet from a Tamil retelling of the Ramayana called Kamba Ramayana, followed by a small snippet of a song by an 18th century composer, Arunachala Kaviraya, which speaks of Sita Kalyanam, that is the wedding of Sita.
Kanal talai viranum, kanal talai viranum Mayyar mandiram May varanga Mayyar mandiram May varanga நேயவமாமுதி நேயவமாமுதி யாயையும் நேதான் நேயவமாமுதி யாயையும் நேதான் கையல் தளிர் கை தடக்கை பிடித்தான் கை தடக்கை பிடித்தான் கை தடக்கை பிடித்தான் जानकी वंदाले अन्नै जानकी वंदाले राजाधिराज अनेवरुम काजी
Annai Janaki Vandari, Mother Sita has arrived. The verses that we first presented from the Kamba Ramayana, Kaitada Kaipaditan. The clasping of the hand is the symbol for wedding. The groom clasps the bride's hand and circumambulates the ritual fire and recites some verses from scripture sealing the marriage. Rama and Sita are married. Lakshmana, his younger brother, gets married to Sita's sister Urmila. Rama's other two younger brothers, Bharata and Shatrughna, get married to Sita's cousins, Mandavi and Shrutakirti respectively, and all of them return to Ayodhya. 12 more years have passed. Bharata and Shatrughna go and pay a visit to one of their uncles, and Dasharatha has a premonition in his dream that he is not going to be alive very long. So he decides to coronate Rama in 2 days' time. So he calls his son and he says, "Son, I'm going to coronate you day after tomorrow. You have to observe a fast, no food, just prayer for the next day, and the day after you're going to be crowned king." One of Dasharatha's wives, Bharata's mother, does not like this. So she concocts an elaborate scheme to have him sent into exile. Dasharatha, with his hand forced, sends Rama into exile, and per Bharata's mother's request, Bharata is proclaimed as king. Unknowns to Bharata, who is still at his uncle's place, Rama has departed for the forest. 6 days after Rama departs for the forest, Dasharatha dies of a broken heart. Bharata, having heard this news, rushes back. He performs his father's final rites, and he goes chasing after Rama. In his mind, he thinks that he is only a servant to the king, not king himself. He intercepts Rama in the forest of Chitrakoota, which is in present-day Madhya Pradesh in India, and convinces Rama to come back. Rama refuses, saying he's going to spend his 14 years in exile, and he will come back at the end of 14 years and take up the mantle of king if it comes to it, but he intends on finishing his exile. Bharata asks for a surety, kind of like asking for a loan. You pledge your car and you get a loan. Bharata asks Rama what he's pledging to keep his word. Rama says, "Here are my divine sandals." He pledges his sandals to Bharata and says, "I will come and claim this back in 14 years' time when I have returned." There's a whole host of literature behind the divinity of these sandals that we will not cover here. We will just present by recitation a couple of verses. Nisheshamambaratalam yadi patrika syat saptarnavi yadi sametyamashi bhavitri vakta sahasravadana purusha swayam chet likhetarangapati padukayoh prabhavaha. These sandals are so divine that in an attempt to write their divinity, to document their divinity, you would need oceans and oceans of ink. You would need the entire universe's expanse of paper. And you might need the divine Almighty himself to come and write. And if you so venture to do so, you may or may not be able to document this divinity. So Bharata takes these sandals back. Clearly they're more valuable than Rama himself. So he takes them back. He installs the sandals as king and rules in the name of the sandals as king regent. Rama spends his exile in the forest. 13 long years pass. Rama is spending time happily with his wife Sita and his younger brother Lakshmana. At the end of the 13th year, in their hermitage in Panchavati, which is now in present-day Nashik in the state of Maharashtra in India, they stumble. There is a demoness by the name of Shurpanakha who stumbles upon the hermitage. She takes one look at Rama and she's instantly smitten. She goes to Rama and says, "I want to marry you." Rama says, "No, I'm already married." She goes to Lakshmana and says, I want to marry you. He says, no, I'm already married. So she's kind of going back and forth between Rama and Lakshmana, and eventually she lays eyes on Sita, and she is instantly envious of Sita's beauty. And in her mind, she's thinking, if I get rid of Sita, maybe Rama will marry me. So she goes to attack Sita. Lakshmana, who is watching this whole situation unfold, is instantly enraged, and he chops off Shurpanakha's nose and ears as punishment. The Sanskrit word for nose is nasika, and it is the root for the present day name of the region called Nashik, which stems from the root word nasika. So Shurpanakha, having been punished goes to her elder brother Ravana and says, I have been punished by Rama and Lakshmana, I need you to take revenge. Ravana initially says no. She then says, he has a really beautiful wife Sita and you can take her for yourself. And he's hooked. So they hatch an elaborate scheme, which again we will not go into today, and they kidnap Sita and they take her to what is present day Lanka, Sri Lanka, whose ruler Ravana is. Rama, having lost Sita, is searching everywhere. Sita, in the process of being kidnapped, is taken in a chariot that flies in the sky, where the chariot is intercepted by one of Dasharatha's friends, Jatayu, who is a vulture. Jatayu tries valiantly to prevent the kidnap of Sita, but is unable to do so. He is defeated by Ravana, his wings are clipped, and he's left to die. In his search for Sita, Rama stumbles upon a dying Jatayu, and with his dying breath, Jatayu says, I tried valiantly to prevent the abduction of Sita. I failed, but I know who is the perpetrator. The perpetrator is Ravana, he's the king of Lanka. So Rama has all the information he needs. And Jatayu, saying so, passes away right in front of Rama. Rama, who did not get to perform funeral rites for his own father, performs Jatayu's funeral rites in the stead of a son, and in a short moment of divinity shows Jatayu the way to the highest heaven. Ya gatiryagnashilanam ya cha bhumi pradayinam maya tvam samanupnyataha gacchalokan anuttaman. Go to the highest possible heaven. I will guide you along the way. Rama continues in his quest for Sita. They keep going further and further south, eventually reaching present-day Karnataka, what we know as Hampi, which in the Ramayana is described as Pampa. On the banks of Pampa, the river, they stumble across Hanuman, a monkey, who guides Rama and Lakshmana to Sugriva, another monkey, who happens to be another king in exile. Rama teams up with Sugriva and retrieves Sugriva's kingdom of Kishkinda back for him. In return, Sugriva pledges the entire kingdom of Kishkinda along with the army of numerous number of monkeys to help look for, fight for, and recover Sita. They send various search parties in many different directions. The search party that goes down south looking for Sita is comprised of Hanuman and Sugriva's minister Jambavan. They reach the southern coast of India, and across the horizon they are able to see Lanka. The question is, how do you get across? With a little bit of instruction from Jambavan, Hanuman realizes that he actually has the prowess to leap across the ocean and surpass that entire distance in one jump. Hanuman scales the entire ocean, going from what is present-day Tirupallani in Tamil Nadu all the way to Lanka. Sanijitya purim shreshtham lankam tam kamarupinim vikramena mahateja Hanuman marutatmajaha. Hanuman marutatmajaha. He's the son of the wind god, and he leaps across the ocean in a display of bravado, vikramena mahateja. Upon reaching Lanka, he goes around searching for Sita, and he finds her held captive in the gardens of the royal palace of Ravana. He sneaks into the palace and he strikes up a conversation with her. She asks him, "You're a monkey. Do I know you? Why are you here?" And she says, Hanuman says, "I'm sent by Rama to search for you." And as proof, he gives her Rama's wedding ring. Upon seeing the wedding ring, Sita bursts into tears. To her, it feels like Rama is standing right next to her. And in return, she gives a hair ornament called a Chudamani to give back to Rama. Hanuman returns back to Kishkindha, the kingdom, to report back to Rama. And Rama is overjoyed on seeing the Chudamani. To him, it feels like Sita is standing right next to him. He declares Hanuman to be his supreme servant, and he says, "May Hanuman be bestowed with all the knowledge in the universe." We are going to present a small snippet by an 18th century composer, Tyagaraja Swami. It's a very popular song on Hanuman, and it talks about how Hanuman is an embodiment of knowledge. Geetarthamu Sangeetanandamu Neetavuna Judarao Manasa. The composer says, I want to know Gita, I want to know its meaning. Gita is considered the condensation of the Hindu philosophy, and he says, I want to know what it means. And he goes on to say, I want to know this the way Hanuman knows it. So they're preparing for war. Around this time, Ravana's minister and younger brother tries counseling Ravana against the folly of retaining Sita. Ravana refuses, and as a slight to his ego, he banishes Vibhishana away from the kingdom. Vibhishana comes and seeks refuge with Rama. The monkey army is initially skeptical, but Rama instantly accepts his surrender. And Rama says, ask me what you want me to give you, and I will give you that. Vibhishana says, I want the opportunity to serve you. Rama not only enlists his help in the war as an opportunity to serve him, he also gives Vibhishana, as we are going to see towards the end, when he gets coronated, the most cherished treasure of his kingdom, which we now know to be Lord Ranganatha of Srirangam. We are going to present a small snippet on Vibhishana's surrender that is taken from the Adhikara Sangraham, written by Swami Vedanta Desikan, which is roughly 800 years old, followed by a snippet of a song by another 18th century composer, Muthuswami Dikshidhar. ஆராத வருணமுடன் பொதிந்த கோயில் அம்புயதோனயோதி மன்னர் கழிந்த கோயில் தோலாத தனிவீரன் தொழுத கோயில் துணையான வீடனர்க்கு துணையான் கோயில் சேராத பயனெல்லாம் சேர்க்கும் கோயில் செழுமறையின் முதலெழுத்து சேர்ந்த கோயில் தீராத வினையனைத்தும் தீர்க்கும் கோயில் தீராத வினையனைத்தும் தீர்க்கும் கோயில் தீராத வினையனைத்தும் தீர்க்கும் கோயில் திருவரங்கம் 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 எனத் திகழும் கோயில்தானே திருவரங்கம் எனத் திகழும் கோயில்தானே संकटहरण गोविंद वेंकटरमण मुकुंद संकटहरण गोविंद वेंकटरमण मुकुंद संकर्षण मूलकंद शंकर गुरु गुहानंद रंग पूरविहारा जय कोदंड रामा प्रधान रघुवीर श्रीरंग पूरविहारा. Sankatarahana Govinda. Vibhishana has come in a moment of crisis. You wonder whether the crisis is Rama's or Vibhishana's. But Rama is getting rid of his Sankata, meaning problem. They build a mighty bridge and they cross over to Lanka. Not everyone is Hanuman, so not everybody can jump across. So they build a mighty bridge and they go to Lanka and they try parleying with Ravana. It does not work clearly, and they engage in a mighty battle. The battle lasts 87 long days. On the very first day, Ravana himself comes out and he is sent back defeated. He then sends many of his generals, many of his sons, his brothers, his uncles, extended relatives, and hordes of demons in his army, and all of them are summarily defeated. On the second last day, he's kind of the last man standing, so he comes in to battle. He is defeated and he gets sent back because Rama says, "You are defeated, you don't have a weapon in hand. I am not going to raise my weapon against a defenseless person. So you can go back, you can recapitulate, maybe rethink this whole abduction business and give back my wife, or we will battle tomorrow." Ravana goes home and he's laying in bed at night thinking, sleepless nights, So he is laying in bed at night and he's thinking, I wonder who this person is. He seems like an ordinary human being, I'm supposed to be a demon, and yet his arrows strike like thunderbolts. Brahmadanda prakashanam vidyujvalita varchasam smaran raghava bananam vivyathe rakshaseshwara. He goes on further to say, I don't know whether this is an ordinary human being or not, but this is giving me an inkling that this is the supreme, the divine being, Lord Narayana himself. Yasya vikramam asadhya rakshasa nidhanam gataha tammanye raghavam veeram Narayana manamayam. He's veritably the Narayana himself, the supreme Narayana himself. Eventually, it doesn't work. His bad intentions get the better of him, so he comes back to battle, and he's summarily slain by Lord Rama. We're going to present a small snippet directly from the Ramayana this time, set to tune by me as part of a dance project, and we will conclude after that with another short piece. तस्मिन् सन्धीयमाने तु राघवेन शरोत्तमे सर्वभूतानि सन्त्रेषुश्चचार च वसुन्धरा तस्मिन् सन्धीयमाने तु राघवेन शरोत्तमे सर्वभूतानि सन्त्रेषुश्चचार च वसुन्धरा स रावणाय संक्रुद्धो वृषभान्ययामुखम् स रावणाय संक्रुद्धो वृषभान्ययामुखम् शिक्षेप परमागतः शरं मर्मविदारणम् स रावणाय संक्रुद्धो वृषभान्ययामुखम् शिक्षेप परमागतः शरं मर्मविदारणम् स वज्रैव रुद्धर्षो वज्रिकाहुः विसर्जितः वेदान्तैव जावार्यो न्यवदत्तावनोरसि स विसृष्टो महावेग शरीरान्तकरशरः विभेदहृदयं तस्य रावणस्य दुरात्मनः स विसृष्टो महावेग शरीरान्तकरशरः विभेदहृदयं तस्य रावणस्य दुरात्मनः. Ravana is slain. Bibheda hridayam tasya ravanasya duratmanaha. The arrow pierces his heart. In case you're wondering, Rama is an archer. He fires his most powerful arrow at Ravana. It pierces his heart. he falls down, and the kingdom begins to collapse. All of the remaining demons are scared, they begin running away, and Rama and his retinue are able to rescue Sita. There's a lot of nuance that happens through the rescue of Sita that we will not cover here, but once Sita is rescued, they're nearly at the end of their 14-year exile. Their younger brother Bharata is waiting with the sandals, and he has said that he's not going to wait any longer than 14 years. So they rush back, and Rama gets coronated to great fanfare. He assumes the mantle of king, Sita assumes the mantle of queen, and they rule the kingdom for a very long period to great prosperity. We are going to conclude with a short Mangalam, which is a traditional closing piece that we perform in Indian music. But before we go there, I wanted to pass on a small message. The Ramayana is a story that has been handed down generations after generations. A lot of it might even be considered fantasy. But the one thing that Ramayana teaches as a moral is the aspect of dharma. Dharma is a Sanskrit word that I have been trying for 3 decades to find an English translation to, but the closest I could get was these words that were said to me by a very wise friend of mine. When you say you are following the path of dharma, you are saying that there is no right way to do a wrong thing. So I wanted to leave the audience today with that message, and thank everyone for being here, and thank Ashwath and Sudarshan for a splendid accompaniment performance today. And we will conclude the performance with the Mangalam, which is an auspicious piece. Ramachandraya Janakaraja Manoharaya Mamakabhishtataya Mangalam. Ramachandraya Janakaraja Manoharaya Mamakabhishtataya Mangalam. Kosaleshaya Nandahasada Saposhanaya Masamadi
Wow, I really enjoyed the presentation. Can we please give the team another round of applause? I want to say a big thank you to Sriram for coming up with this plan, orchestrating the presentation, and delivering it today. Such a presentation, I'm sure everyone must have really enjoyed it. We got to travel along the story of the Ramayana across all the parts of India. We got to hear compositions in many different languages. And I really want to thank Sriram for making this presentation accessible to everybody. Whether maybe you've never heard of Ramayana before, or you've grown up with these stories, or maybe you've even done deep dive into the literature, I think there was something for everyone to appreciate here. So a big thank you to Sriram for providing us such a treat today. I have to say, here at Georgia Tech, we're very blessed to have someone like Sriram here in the community with us that's able to deliver these presentations. It's not like an everyday skill like that. Yeah, go for it.
I also wanted to say it's my first time stepping up on stage in 10 long years. And it's my first time doing this entirely in English, my first time doing this in the United States, and my first time doing this to an audience that has members that are completely unfamiliar with this work. And I just wanted to say thank you for listening through the whole presentation.
I'll say a little bit just about Sudarshan and Ashwath, who are no strangers to the Aarohi stage. They provided excellent accompaniment today. This was definitely a combination of music and literature, and for that we need effective accompaniment, and I'd like to thank them very much for providing that. Now, Aarohi events like this don't happen just with the work of a few people. We actually have a whole executive board that helps to put together all of our events and run the whole show during the semester. So any Aarohi board members in the audience, I'd just like to have them stand up so we can just see everyone who's been a part of this. So. Sorry. Thanks everybody. And just I like to conclude with this. How many people have are first timers for Aarohi? We just want to thank you all so much for coming, and we'll hope you come to all of our future events. With that, thank you all for a great evening. I'm going to hand it off to Prithvi, who's our vice president today. He'll be telling you about our upcoming events. And yeah, thank you so much for coming.
So yeah, if you're unfamiliar with Aarohi's weekly events, we have every Friday at 6 p.m. evenings with Aarohi, which usually tends to be a jam session, but it can be whatever you want it to be if you show up and tell us what you're interested in. And mark your calendars for April 5th, that will be our semester concert. So every semester we do a major concert. If you haven't been to one, it's really fun to just be in the audience or to participate. So if you are interested, do show up on that day. It will be here in Scheller 100, and we will likely have refreshments on that day as well. So yeah, thank you all for coming out tonight.
Yeah, thank you everybody.